Greetings of the day, esteemed parents of Montfort School, Nagpur. Change is inevitable and adaptability to change makes the society future ready, said James Peebles while receiving Nobel Prize in Physics for the year 2019. The current pandemic has already transformed teaching and learning beyond the classroom. The role of teachers in future is changing. The teachers of the future are expected to be data collectors as well as analysts, planners, collaborators, career experts, problem solvers, and most importantly, learners and researchers. Amidst all ongoing changes, the change in education policy has arrived after a gap of 34 years. National Education Policy 2020 aims to improvise the existing education system with the ambitious and general reforms to meet 21st century skills agenda. So, dear parents, I, on behalf of Montfort School, Nagpur, extend a warm welcome to you all for the webinar on Understanding National Education Policy and the Role of Parents. So, presenting before you the NEP 2020 highlights and overview.
This National Education Policy 2020 was originally given to former Cabinet Secretary T.S. Subramaniam, who initially did the drafting of this policy, and finally it was done by former ISRO Chief K. Kasturiranjan, the chairperson of the committee. Before I move into the New Education Policy 2020, let us have a look at the different commissions and policies. Radhakrishnan Commission was set up in 1948 and it is known as University Education Commission. Mudaliar Commission, it was known as the Secondary Education Commission. This was later followed by Kothari Commission formulated between 1966 to 68. First National Policy of Education was published in the year 1968 and Second National Policy of Education was rolled out in 1986. The National Curriculum Framework was given in 1975 and 1988 to support first and second National Education Policy. The latest National Curriculum Framework was given in 2005. Finally, we reached the third National Education Policy of our country, that is NEP 2020. We all should know why this NEP 2020 is designed and for what. As you all know that the huge changes are happening globally. So, we all should understand that we have to prepare our children to face the future challenges, isn't it? What kind of future we want for our children? Future roles uncertainly in terms of what jobs will be there in the world, how many jobs will be replaced by machines. So, machines will be dominating. So with this thought, only the NEP 2020 policy is designed so that it would help the students to cope up with the challenges and be a successful citizen of this nation. So let's see what the vision of NEP 2020 policy says. Develop an education system deeply rooted in Indian ethos, which has the capability to provide high quality education to compete in the global world. The curriculum and the pedagogy must develop a sense of respect towards fundamental duties and Constitution of India and have a deep bond with the country. Develop a sense of pride and respect for the country and be responsible for human rights, sustainable development, global well-being, thereby reflecting a truly global citizen. Now let's focus on socio-economic disadvantaged group. SEDGS can be broadly categorized based on gender identities, particularly female and transgender individual. Focus on bridging the gender gap and provide equal opportunities to all. Gender sensitivity to be an integral part of the curriculum. Socio-culture identities. Focus on attainment of learning outcomes of children belongs to SC, ST and OBC. Geographical identities such as students from village, small town and aspirational districts. disabilities including learning disabilities, socioeconomical conditions such as migrants, low-income household, children of victims of trafficking, orphans including child beggars in urban areas. So separate strategies will be formulated for focused attention for reducing each of the category-wise gap in school education. Transforming curricular and pedagogical structure. Dear parents, you are aware of existing academic structure which consists of 10 plus 2. Now this 10 plus 2 has been dissolved with the new academic structure which consists of 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Junior college would not be there. According to the new academic structure, that is 5 years, plus 3 years, plus 3 years and plus 4 years. Here it is divided into 4 stages. The first stage stands for foundational stage, which is for 5 years, and it includes multi-level play-based learning. The second stage will be preparatory stage of 3 years, which consists of play, discovery, activity-based and interactive classroom learning. The third stage will be the middle stage of 3 years, which consists of experiential learning in subjects like science, maths, arts, social science and humanities. The fourth and the last stage, that is the secondary stage, which is of 4 years and which consists of multidisciplinary studies, greater critical thinking, flexibility and students' choice of subjects. So here you can observe the foundational stage. In foundational stage, you can see 3 years of preschooling is there, which includes nursery, KG1 and KG2, grade 1 and grade 2. Students of age group of 3 to 7 years come under this stage. According to this policy, the government has given more stress on co-locating Anganwadis with preschool or co-locating preschool with primary school, and these classes will be under the government supervision for the quality check. Even there will be collaboration and oversight or MHRD with the Ministry of Social Welfare and Ministry of Child Development. This policy gives more stress on foundational stage, the second stage, that is the preparatory stage, which includes grade 3, 4 and 5. The children of age group of 8 to 11 years come under this group. The third stage, that is middle stage, it includes grades 6th, 7th and 8th. The children of age group of 12 to 14 years come under this group, and more stress is given on experiential learning. The fourth stage, that is secondary stage, it includes grade 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. And the children of age group of 15 to 18 years come under this stage. Salient features of stages in school. The first stage, that is the foundational stage. More stress is given on play or activity-based learning, pedagogy of early childhood care and education, focus on good behavior, courtesy, ethics, personal and public hygiene or cleanliness. Focus on teamwork and cooperation. More focus on understanding and recognizing the alphabets, numbers, colors, shape and size. Preparatory stage. Gradual transition from play-based learning to more formal classroom learning. Interactive teaching learning method is used here. Introduction of subjects including physical education, art, language, science and mathematics. More emphasis is given on reading, writing and speaking.
Let's now know about the next 2 stages in school. Middle stage, it is 3 years period comprised of classes 6th, 7th, 8th. In this stage, learning will take place through interaction, discussion. More specialized subjects will be included in the education. Abstract concepts will be introduced in different subjects. Coding will be introduced at this middle stage. Vocational courses will be introduced as a part of education, and students at this stage will be made familiar with data analytics, computing, artificial intelligence, etc. Then comes the secondary stage. This is 4 years period comprised of classes 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. According to National Education Policy 2020, There will be no strict demarcation between streams like humanities, science, commerce, etc. Rather, there will be intermingling of streams. Students will be given increased flexibility and choice of subjects to study, including physical education, arts and crafts, classical dance, vocational courses, etc. There won't be demarcation between scholastic and co-scholastic as well. Sports, music, dance, everything will be scholastic. A learner at this stage will acquire knowledge with greater depth at this stage. The policy talks about learning in mother tongue or regional language up to class 5th and preferably till class 8th. The new policy will encourage the use of native languages, that is local languages. India is a country where more than 19,500 different languages are spoken. If the child is taught in his mother tongue or in native language, he or she will be able to learn something quickly and conveniently. Today, more importance is given on English medium schooling, but post NEP 2020, language will not be a barrier to learn something new. Mathematics, science will be taught with bilingual approach. So, there will be 3 language formula in spirit now. Shift to competency-based teaching, learning and assessment. Let's see what is it. The new education policy specifies reduction of curriculum. The topics that have lost their practical utility in today's world may not be taught. Competency-based education is not simply mugging up and writing the exams. It is testing how much the child is able to use the knowledge in practical skills. Rote learning will be minimized now. Competency-based education means education beyond books to the level of learning outcomes. The policy will include Indian culture, ethos, history and values in the curriculum. The competency-based education will emphasize on application, evaluation, analysis and creating. Earlier, more stress was given on knowledge and understanding for the assessment, where students were expected to memorize topics, but now students' knowledge will be tested by their critical thinking, evaluation and analytical skills. The next important point about this policy is transforming assessment and tracking students' progress across school years. There will be no exams at yearly basis, but exams will be spread across at different grades like 3rd, 5th, 10th and 12th. Through the new assessment scheme, unique capabilities of a child will be recognized. The focus will be on critical thinking and application and not on rote learning. Board exams will continue for classes 10th and 12th, but exams will be easier. Earlier, education was exam-centric, now it will be learning-centric. Beginning with mathematics, all subjects would be offered at 2 level like at present. For class 10th, we have basic mathematics and standard mathematics. After knowing about the new assessment pattern, let's see how will be the holistic report card according to the new national education policy. It will be 360-degree holistic report card. Self-assessment, peer assessment, assessment by teachers will be emphasized. The report card earlier had grades or marks. Now it will reflect the progress of the children in cognitive, social, affective and psychomotor domains. If a child wins a music competition and gets first position, if a child wins a football match, all such achievements will be reflected in the report card of a child. Parents will get to know the overall progress, capabilities of their ward. This report card will be a link between home and school. During the PTM, the teacher will be able to tell the parents if the child is good in speaking skills, communication skills, leadership skills, collaborative skills, etc. So this way, it will be 360-degree holistic report card. The next point about the national education policy is 10 bagless periods during classes 6 to 8. Emphasis on vocational courses. By 2025, at least 50% students through school and higher education system shall have exposure to vocational education. All students will participate in 10 days bagless period sometime during grade 6 to 8 to intern with local vocational experts such as carpenters, potters, artists, gardeners, etc. Visit to historical places, monuments will also be encouraged. No school dropouts. Bring children back to school. NEP 2020 proposes to improve infrastructure to provide safe and engaging school education, to bring back children of migrants or others who have dropped out of school for various reasons. NEP proposes to set up alternative or innovative education centers. NIOS and ODL, National Institute of Open Schooling and Open Distance Learning. These programs are introduced to meet the learning needs of young people in India who are not able to attend the physical school.
Now, let's have a look at the key features of pedagogy. But before we dwell into its detail, let's understand what is pedagogy. In simple terms, pedagogy is the art of teaching. If you look at the existing system of education, the focus is more on mastering the content, as students are supposed to score good marks, and the teaching learning is more exam oriented. From pedagogical point, NEP gives importance to development of skills, particularly learning life skills. The emphasis is more on conceptual understanding rather than rote learning and learning for exams. The shift from rote memorization skills to competency-based assessment, which would test the higher order skills like the analytical skills, critical thinking, conceptual clarity, decision making, and innovation. The second one is the integration of subjects. In order to make learning joyful and engaging for children, experiential learning pedagogy will be introduced in the coming session. In this context, NEP suggests the inclusion of hands-on learning, art integrated education, sports integrated education, and storytelling pedagogy, among others, as standard teaching learning strategies across different subjects. The traditional chalk and talk or lecture method will be replaced by innovative and interesting pedagogies to make happy classrooms. Art integration is a cross-cultural pedagogical approach that utilizes various aspects of arts and culture as the basis for learning of concept across subjects. For example, theatre, role play, nukkad natak, music, dance, etc. for creating joyful learning. Art education is important for emotional well-being and holistic development of brain with better performance in maths. This art-integrated approach will strengthen the linkages between education and culture. Whereas sports-integrated education, this approach will utilize physical activities including sports to develop skills such as collaboration, self-discipline, self-initiative, teamwork, citizenship, etc. The third important key feature is the development of scientific temper. NEP focuses on how to think rather than what to think. Therefore, attention is drawn in the NEP to constitutional values like patriotism, sacrifice, non-violence, truth, honesty, peace, equality, and diversity. Developing scientific temper through evidence-based reasoning, rational and analytical as well as logical and quantitative thinking, and scientific temper-based inquiry. Yet another key feature is promotion of multilingual teaching. NEP 2020's focus is on multilingualism. Multilingualism will give emphasis to all Indian languages. It is well understood that young children learn and grasp more quickly in mother tongue. So, wherever possible, the medium of instruction until at least grade 5, but preferably grade 8 will be mother tongue or local language or regional language. Thereafter, from grade 8 or class 8, the local or regional language like Hindi, Punjabi, Tamil, Marathi, Malayalam, etc. shall continue to be taught wherever possible. All efforts will be made in the preparation of high-quality bilingual textbook and teaching learning materials for science and mathematics too. Today, English has more elite status and hence deprived of many of the growth dynamics. So, in addition to high-quality offerings in Indian languages and English, foreign languages like German, Spanish, Russian, French will also be offered, but from the secondary level. Teaching all languages will be enhanced through innovative and experiential methodologies like gamification app, storytelling, film, theatre, etc. so that learning languages and teaching in bilingual languages will become more joyful. Yet another key feature is emphasis on digital literacy. The policy will expose children to the elements of digital era, digital literacy, coding and computational thinking. What is coding? Coding is basically the computer language to develop apps, website and software. Whereas computational thinking means thinking or solving problems like computer scientist. The thinking involves logically organizing and analyzing data, using abstractions and pattern recognition, and breaking the problem down into smaller parts. Coming to the yet another important key feature, that is no silos among subjects or learning. The curriculum will not have the independent elements of art, music, dance, theatre, sports, health education, life skills, vocational skills, as it will be integrated into the fiber of curriculum. The curricular architecture will be broad-based and not straight-jacketed, as it would incorporate a lot of flexibility to provide multifaceted growth among school-going children. There would be no curricular and extracurricular domains, as everything will be under the umbrella of curriculum. Vocational education will be an integral part of learning in school and higher education. All school students between class 9 to 12 will have at least one subject of vocational education. There will be no separation of streams as arts, humanities, science, etc. As for example, after 10th, when you ask for a student, he would like to opt for humanities, he would like to opt for science, or he would like to opt for commerce. But in the present existing policy, a student who loves music as well as science, any of the science subjects like maths, can study together maths with music or accountancy with psychology. So there is no hardcore separation of the streams. Now coming to the role of parents. What is expected from parents? Parents should identify the physical disabilities in their children, learning disabilities like dyslexia. This is for if there is early detection, then some remedial measures can be taken up early. Parents should attend parenting sessions that will be organized by the schools. Parents are expected to work closely with the school to deal with substance abuse, sexual orientations and other adolescence issues. They are expected to stay updated about the information and activities in the school and about the child's progress. The portfolio, which is a collection of students' work, will provide review and feedback. Parents should volunteer field visits, sports, arts, exhibition, annual functions, school magazines, etc. Exposure lecture by parent specialists. It means that if any among the parents, if there are counselors, there are psychologists, there are scientists, they will be invited to the school as a guest lecturer or as a resource person to explain certain academic content to the parents. So it is expected that the parents also should contribute to the school. It is expected that the parent should be an active member of PTA and should attend the PTM meetings regularly. It is expected that the parents should participate in various events which are organized by school for them, as well as involve in the community outreach programs undertaken by the schools. So that's all about the NAP 2020. So I, on behalf of my colleagues, thank you everyone, each one of you, for your patient listening. Thank you.